Hey there, how you doing, folks? And welcome back to the second episode of KJ's What Happened. My name is KJ Osborne. Hope you've had a wonderful week. I hope your weekend is starting off good. Hopefully it'll end good. And as always, I really appreciate you being here. There's a lot of things to cover. I'm going to cover news over the last week between December 2nd to December 8th. From the weird to the wild, to the random, to the sublime, and everything in between. These are bits I pick up throughout the week because basically every day I'm researching. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And this is the first story right here, and it's kind of a sad story to start off with, I admit. This one bums me out. VidMe shuts down due to increased competition from YouTube and Facebook. Some of you know I started a website about, 5 months ago, 6 months ago or so. It's called whoiskjosborne.com. Please check it out. KJOZBORNE.com. And I put up a lot of videos there that I can't put on YouTube. They get taken down really quick. So I started using VidMe. I've also branched out to Minds.com and also to Vimeo. But I was on VidMe, man, and I started building a real following there. And I was using VidMe primarily to post videos that I could just, link over to my website. So there's a lot of videos over on VidMe for me that are linked to the site. And since I saw this news story, I'm starting to transition everything basically over to Vimeo for now. But there's some other choices I've been looking at personally. And I guess I can talk about it now. But Steemit I've been looking at is one, and then there's another one. I'll see if I can find it here in a little while. It might be one of my stories. I can't remember the name of it though, man, but I read about it recently. I went and checked it out. It's actually created by China. I know that seems counterintuitive, but in a world that's upside down, in a world that is the as above so below paradigm, everything works in reverse. Gosh, I'll try to find this later, okay? I'll try to find the website. It's just something I recently looked into. It sounds good. It's basically a YouTube alternative, total freedom of speech, they're saying, even though it's created by China. But I think it's interesting, if you really think about it, China has been undermining America for a very long time. China, Russia, other communist-type countries. This is all Cold War type stuff. For a long time, there's been a silent war taking place. Communism under Obama, communism really seeped in to American politics and culture, and it's here now. We see it all over the place, and it's against American culture, right? But isn't it strange that there's this random Chinese site that pops up? It's basically an alternative to YouTube, and it says it gives total freedom of speech. You can get paid for what you put up there. That's great as well. Sure. You want to make a living doing this, it helps. So it seems to me that China, if, like I said, I'm reading this right, because look at what's happening to YouTube, and freedom of speech in America is totally being squashed. We see that communist agenda. We see leftist politics all over the place. That's what's promoted, even though it's all being exposed right now, which is amazing and great. But how random is it? YouTube has become very communist. The last year and a half has been really rough on YouTube, man. I mean, they're demonetizing everything. Over half of my videos are demonetized. Even the last 2 videos I've put up are demonetized permanently after review, right? My first episode of this show, KJ's What Happened, permanently demonetized. And my last video, We Were Living in the Upside Down, permanently demonetized. I'm not the only one. I know it's happening to a lot of people. I'm just saying this is what's going on. So it's strange that China has this other option. Let me just see if I can just look it up. Why not, guys? We're in no rush, are we? Oh, here it is. I got it. Top Buzz. There it is. Check this out. Topbuzz.com. Endorsing this site, but this is what I'm looking at to start branching out. I want to basically find sites I can upload all of my videos to. I just want to have a safe space for all my videos at this point. not just stuff from my website, but even my stuff on the YouTube channel because of how crazy things are getting. But anyway, Top Buzz. Become a top buzzer. Anyway, here's the site. Check it out for yourself. So I guess there's a lot of like big YouTubers already on Top Buzz, they're saying. I don't know. Anyway, so check this out for yourself, okay? It's just another option. And, there's a lot of creators out there on YouTube that are getting burned by the system. They're looking for other options. Perhaps this is one. It's just interesting that China, of all places, would create something like this. But is it really that interesting? It kind of makes sense. I mean, as America becomes more communist, as we realize this upside down paradigm we're living in, everything's backwards. So China, of course, if they really are trying to undermine America, I'm talking top of the pyramid type stuff here when it comes to China and political rule. If they really are trying to undermine America, why wouldn't they create a site like this that's an alternative to YouTube that gives you total freedom of speech to say things against the American government and the American system? Just saying. So I don't know. Look into it for yourself, okay? This isn't, I'm not sponsored by Top Buzz or anything like that, but I figured I'd show you that real quick, and here we go. Let's get back to this. So VidMe shuts down due to increased competition from YouTube and Facebook. Kind of a bummer, man. I was really pulling for VidMe is the other. Well, VidMe is one. What's the other one? Vid.to, I think, is the other term they use. I think that's the same thing. But I was pulling for VidMe, man. I mean, we're looking for alternatives. I mean, this is the capitalist system, what's left of it, and it's all about competition. So YouTube needs real competition, and maybe they'll shape up, right? Anyway, that's it. Wanted to share that. I'm going to go and close that out, and I'm just going to kind of do a wheel, and I don't really know where we're going to land, and we'll just kind of hit on the next thing we jump on. First, let me go ahead and pop that out, and let's see what we got right here. Oh, okay. Neon Nettle. Last week I talked about a website called Your Newswire, which is totally fake news, and it puts out a lot of bait for so-called conspiracy theorists or people who are looking for truth outside the mainstream narrative. I'm going to cover more of this later as well. So I showed you them. I showed you how they've been exposed. Check it out for yourself as well. Look up Your Newswire. Debunked, exposed, whatever. Look at the people behind Your Newswire who runs this. And they put out a lot of really sensationalist headlines, totally clickbait type stuff, Keanu Reeves says the elite eats babies. Nicole Kidman exposes truth of Illuminati sex parties. Just stuff like this. Jay-Z shapeshifts into reptilian on airplane flight, and just crap like this. And, you see a lot of this stuff go to all the kind of mainstream, at this point, conspiracy type sites and getting lots of views and lots of shares. So we got to be careful. There's a lot of fake news sites out there. Neon Nettle is another one that I checked out recently, and they're putting up a lot of garbage as well. So I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Neon Nettle. Be very careful. What you do when you start finding stories that are interesting to you, I mean, keep searching the sources. If it's a legitimate source, they should leave a link to the original, okay? So you could always find out where this comes from. Dig, and try to find out where this stuff comes from. If the last place you can find this story is on places like Neon Nettle or on Your Newswire, Rut-row Raggy, we have a problem. Okay, so just think about this stuff. Let's see what else we got here. Just kind of jump around a little bit. Oh, here we go. Now here's one of the reasons I brought that up. This is back to Neon Nettle. Here's one of the stories from December 4th, recently, just a few days ago. Miley Cyrus, worship Satan if you want to be rich and famous like me, she says. It's on Neon Nettle. So we scroll down. I'm looking for a source. I don't even want to really get into the story because it's totally bogus. Well, let me see here. Following filming the NBC TV talent show The Voice, on which Cyrus is one of the judges, a flock of young admirers had gathered outside the backstage exit, hoping to catch a glimpse of their idol. As the Wrecking Ball singer made her way out of the exit with her security team, one of her starstruck fans asked her, "Hey, Miley." "Hey, Miley." I'm going to try to, should I change my voice? "Hey, Miley." All right, "Hey, Miley, do you have any advice for any of your fans that might want to follow in your footsteps to become a star?" To which she responded, allegedly, "Yeah, if you want to be famous and rich, it's easy, but don't ask me. You need to ask Satan. You can have it all." As a nervous laugh spread through the crowd, Cyrus stopped her bodyguard, seemingly annoyed by the response, and turned back to the crowd, saying, allegedly, "You think I'm joking? You asked me how to make it as a pop star, and I just told you everything you need to know. If you want everything that I have, then all you have to do is ask Satan for it, and you can have it. You need to stop asking Santa for Christmas presents and praying to Jesus, because none of them exist. Satan is our Lord, and when you let him into your heart and worship him instead of your make-believe God, then you can have it all." Cyrus then stormed off with her entourage and jumped into the back of a Range Rover before speeding away. The group of her supporters were left shocked by her comments, with some visibly upset. The mother of one of the young fans said she was disgusted by the singer's rant, saying, "My daughter is only 6. I'm trying voices here. It's not working, is it? "My daughter is only 6 and has been really looking forward to Christmas. Now she's asking me why I lied to her about Santa." I'm going to show you some really interesting Santa news here in a little bit as well. Side note, we're a good Christian family, but now I'm getting asked how we can please Satan, and I don't know what to tell her. This isn't the first time Miley Cyrus. This is garbage. I don't want to keep going. Oh, look, here's the other one. Read more. Jay-Z, "Satan is our true Lord. Only idiots believe in Jesus." It's one of the stories from Neon Nuddle. No doubt also you could find this over on yournewswire.com. You know what really sucks about this is that there's a little bit of truth in all of this. This is the kind of stuff that myself and others have been exposing forever. The satanic connection to these people. But then you got jerks like this come out with these fake news sites. Look at that, 549,000 likes on Neon Nettle. You got people coming out with these fake news sites like this, just making up stories. You see here at the end, and there's no link to the original. Where'd that come from? Where's the link? There is none. Okay? They created this story. Here's some more related articles. Taylor Swift is about to expose elite pedophiles and satanic Illuminati. Israel Prime Minister's son exposes Soros' reptilian Illuminati connection. Brad Pitt reacts to Angelina's Hollywood Illuminati ritual video. Robert Downey Jr. Las Vegas shooting was an Illuminati blood sacrifice. Yeah, right. It hurts. The dumb hurts. The stupidity hurts of it. It does. Be very careful of your sources, folks. Dangerous territory we're in. There's so many psyops trying to shut down any kind of truth outside of the mainstream narrative. They even put weirdos on YouTube, to go up against us and connect all this stuff and try to make us all look like we're idiots. There's government psyops. Then there's just straight up idiots that create YouTube channels. These people are insane. And they promote the craziest garbage ever. There's a guy, it's a classic case, a real moron. I don't know if he's an actor or if he's even real. He goes by Dave J. Now, this idiot put out a video a long time ago saying that Katy Perry was actually JonBenet Ramsey. I know, idiotic. Well, the mainstream news wound up taking that video and putting it up all over the place. And for about a week, he got his 15 minutes of fame because he kept talking about the YouTube conspiracy theorist that believes that JonBenet Ramsey is Katy Perry. Was he placed there on purpose to do this? Is he part of a government psyop? I don't know. Or is he just a moron, an idiot, a doof that has no common sense or critical thinking or spiritual discernment, that's just putting stupid shit out there? I don't know. Just be careful. Be careful of the sources you trust. You know? You with me? I'm just going to hit this randomly. Let's shut that down. See what's popping up here next. Yeah, this is interesting. Check this out. Google Street View's artificial intelligence can now predict race and political party. There's nothing creepy about that at all, right? Google Street View's artificial intelligence can now predict your race and your political party. A lot of times when I see stories like this, I'm looking into the future, and I'm wondering, we know, many of us believe we're in the end times, at least the season, you might want to say, of the end times. I'm no predictor of dates or days or whatever. I live my life day by day, But it's hard not to understand how crazy things are getting when you're awake and you start looking around and seeing what we see. So I always look for the end game, which would be full-on Christian persecution all around the planet. I mean, straight up, Antichrist been revealed, straight up agenda after Christians, drones after people, all of the spying devices that people are putting in their homes. A lot of you are buying them for Christmas probably this year, like Siri and these other things. Even smart TVs has been proven they're watching. But what's the point of all this? What's the end game? So sometimes I wonder if we're actually seeing this grid being put in place now, setting us up. So when that time really comes, it's going to be really hard to escape, because they'll be looking for you because you don't want to take the mark of the beast. You don't want to take a chip. We're going to get into some of that news tonight too. And there's going to be different classifications of the kinds of people that are left behind. Some are going to fight and they'll die by the sword. Some are going to run and hide in the mountains. Some are going to have to lose their heads. And perhaps some are going to escape all of this. But I see stories like this, and it always makes me kind of look towards the future and see, how are they trying to set up this grid? What's the end game of all of this? How does this help anybody? Google Street View's artificial intelligence can now predict race and political party. In a paper published earlier this year, Stanford computer scientist Timnit Gebru wrote about how neighborhoods can be evaluated by the makes and models of the cars parked in their driveways. The paper appeared in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, and it's an interesting read. By analyzing the images already available as part of Google Street Views, the research team was able to identify which neighborhoods were Republican and which were Democrat, as well as many other characteristics. Which are Christian, which are atheist, is another possibility, right? It determined that in those areas where the number of sedans is higher than pickup trucks, there's an 88% chance of the district voting Democratic. Where there are more pickup trucks, there's an 82% chance it's a Republican voting district. Signs of the times, though, Signs of the times. Artificial intelligence, man. Every week there's new stories on this, on artificial intelligence. It's part of the beast system, as we say. What else we got here? Well, speaking of artificial intelligence to create indistinguishable false reality. Humanity soon won't distinguish reality from simulation. Let's read a little bit here. This is from InfoWars. Artificial intelligence can soon create a false reality indistinguishable from the real one, suggests new advancements in graphics manipulation, which serves as a warning to humanity. Graphics firm NVIDIA recently released results of its image-to-image translation, which can take an outdoors photo taken in the winter and transform it into the same scene, but in the summer, with indistinguishable results. There's some pictures. We present high-quality image translation results on various challenging unsupervised image translation tasks, including street scene image translation, animal image translation, and face image translation in video revealed. We also apply the proposed framework to domain adaptation and achieve state-of-the-art performance on benchmark data sets. Interesting. Our world has turned upside down. We are living in the upside down. What else we got? Okay, this is from the Telegraph. Terrifying and humiliating, male models accuse fashion photographer Bruce Weber of sexual harassment. I just want to add this in because what's happening right now, like I said, it's a wildfire. It's I have mixed emotions on it. First and foremost, I am grateful that all these people's wicked deeds, these famous people, are being exposed. But just wanted to show this as well, showing that it's really spreading out to all kinds of areas. This guy's a professional photographer, like what is it? Fashion photographer. Bruce Weber. So it's going all over the place. He looks like a creep anyway, doesn't he? He reminds me of something I saw a long time ago. It was a meme saying that every white man, once they get old, they look like Kenny Rogers. Have you ever heard of this before? It's kind of in line with the whole Chuck Norris thing. You know, there's a whole Chuck Norris meme out there, how badass Chuck Norris is. There was another meme many years ago, and it showed tons of pictures of old white men saying that when white men get old, they all eventually look like Kenny Rogers. So you should look that up if you're interested. But he looks like Kenny Rogers to me. But anyway, so this guy, bit of a creep. Let's see, what was he exposed of? Here we go. Last week, the New York Post reported the model Jason Boyce was suing Weber for inappropriate touching during a December 2014 casting session at Weber's flat. Yesterday, a second accuser, model Mark Ricketson, held a press conference with Boyce to say that Weber had also harassed him in a similar context. Both men described separate experiences of meeting Weber for casting sessions during which the photographer, known for his sexually charged work, instructed them to remove their clothes, fondle themselves, and then engage in sexual activity. So another creep, a creeper. Here's the models. It's a wildfire. It's spreading. This week, a couple of ladies were accused as well. That's the other thing I was looking for, is when that's going to start happening. Maybe you saw the stories. It was nothing major. I really didn't feel like including it, but I knew it would come eventually, that you'd start finding victims coming out of women, powerful women. So we're starting to see that happen as well now too. See what else we got here. What's next? I'm going to take a quick drink here. Oh yeah, this one here. Check this out. I'm not sure what to make of this one. Mysterious condition dubbed scromating hits weed smokers across the U.S. and causes them to vomit and scream. So I always wonder, especially on Daily Mail, what's the agenda behind these kinds of stories? I've never heard of this. I've been a proponent for weed forever, but with caveats. You know, I don't believe in abusing anything. And weed is so easy for people to abuse. But if you just use it like, you know, like a glass of wine at the end of the day, what's the big deal? It's the way I see it. It's in moderation. Mysterious condition dubbed scromating hits weed smokers across the U.S. The other thing I thought about is the medicinal stuff that's created by the government. You know, we see dispensaries opening up all over the place. More and more states have been making this legal, and I can see that just being a continuing trend. And if you're smoking like real all-natural marijuana, like, what's wrong? I mean, this is the way I see it. Okay, I know some drugs can create portals and this and that, and I've covered a lot of this in my videos, but I have my own views on this. In moderation. Don't wake and bake, not waking up and getting baked. And movies portray, you know, pretty much every stoner like that. Like, yo, bro, wake and bake, man. Yo, dude, where's my car? You know, I mean, just dumb stuff. It's not like that. There's a lot of really smart people smoke a little bit of weed. I know that may upset you, but it happens from time to time or in the evenings. So I thought, you know, what if this really is a real story? What if what's happening is that people are being affected by the crap the government's putting in this stuff? You know, there's got to be a big difference between it. I know there is. You know, the government stuff's really strong. Dispensary stuff is really strong. Like you see these videos from, you know, back in the 60s, hippies running around in fields, smoking a joint and just being free and laughing. I mean, you know, the weed they're smoking nowadays, you know, this ain't your grandpappy's weed. You know, this is a different thing happening here. It's intense. And then not to mention the garbage that some people buy, like K2 and all that. That stuff's a real issue. You want to talk about a drug that creates a portal. There's a lot of people that suffer after smoking K2. They lose their minds. A lot of them start really acting like demons, running around growling, pulling their clothes off. You've seen the videos. That's a whole other thing altogether. That's not natural, right? Anyway, scromiting is becoming an all too familiar sight at emergency rooms. The condition called cannabinoid hypermesis syndrome, CHS, is not yet properly understood. Medical experts believe the symptoms appear from individuals using or consuming heavy amounts of marijuana over a long period of time. Doctors note that the condition could stem from the body being oversaturated by cannabinoids, affecting the hypothalamus. Dr. Amy Mulan, not sure, said she has seen a rise in cases since California legalized recreational marijuana last November. So again, that could be it. You know, maybe it's the stuff they're smoking. Maybe they should do the study and find out what kind of, you know, who's smoking what. The people that are suffering this, what are they smoking? Is it all natural type weed? Something that somebody grew, all natural? Or is it the stuff that's been tainted by the government? Scromiting. I think there's a video down here. I guess not. All right, so scromiting. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, yeah, this one. This was a mainstream story, actually. I saw this on some local news. YouTube is hiring 10,000 people to police offensive videos. Oh, boy. I mean, 2017 has totally been the worst year for YouTube ever, as far as in my view, from just being a YouTube creator, regardless of the kind of stuff I create. I mean, just straight up working on this website for years. I've been on here for what, 8 years? 7 years? Something like that. But I've been on here for a long time. And I've seen it go through a lot of changes. But this last year has been insane. I mean, this Susan Wojcicki, or however you pronounce her name, she needs to step down. I'm sure she won't. But aren't there shareholders in the company that are wondering what's going on? I mean, can't they make some decisions? This lady really needs to go. I mean, she's made it so hard just to be a creator on YouTube. Look at all the changes been made. Horrible changes, too. And all these things they do that seem to be fighting against the creators. It's not helping us. YouTube Heroes, basically giving a platform for internet trolls. Awesome. Thanks, YouTube. Putting us in the naughty corner, you know, and not telling us. That's why a lot of our channel, we wonder what happened to our views. Now they just put you in a naughty corner. They put you in timeout. Or they put you in some kind of a safety mode or whatever. For me, it's been blocking my videos worldwide. I've had a lot of videos blocked worldwide on here. I also had a whole channel taken down a few years ago. A separate channel called Thescariestmovieever 111. But it's nonstop with these guys with YouTube. It's nonstop. The adpocalypse. Like I said, the demonetization. It's been insane. Like I said, my last 2 videos, my last show and then my last video, permanently demonetized by YouTube. And I've been on here for years. I stay within community guidelines, but that doesn't matter anymore. So this news is not good. YouTube is hiring 10,000 people to police offensive videos. Oh boy. You know, what's offensive? What's offensive to you might be different than what's offensive to me. What's offensive to the YouTube, I'm sure, will be different than what's offensive to most of us. Who knows? I don't want to be negative. I keep hanging in. I literally pray every morning, you know, thanks that I still have a YouTube channel. Thanks for protecting it. I mean, that's how you live. I mean, it's a total battle zone. YouTube's just become so insane. Like, they just had YouTube Rewind. I watched some of that video. It's got tons of thumbs down, thankfully. But it's just so gay. You know, no offense. It's very goofy and gay, you know? And who are the people that are on this YouTube Rewind, the people they're celebrating? I haven't heard of hardly any of these people. But I'm sure their videos are monetized all the time, and you know, it's probably why they're so happy and jumping around and flitting around in colorful colors to popular dance songs. Wonderful. Good. High five. Good for you. As for the rest of us here in the trenches, you know, we don't have a voice on YouTube Rewind. So yeah, cool. Thanks, Susan. High five. What else we got here? I got a lot of stuff up there. Pink on why she's raising her child as gender neutral. Ugh. Again, a lot of these Hollywood types have either been through the rituals, they're connected to the Illuminati, if you want to call it, or the Masonry of the entertainment system, the Freemasons, or even the female branch, Eastern Star. And she's done rituals at some MTV Music Awards. You can look that up if you haven't seen that. So to me, she's obviously been through the rituals. So they keep promoting this disgusting agenda. It's at the end of the rabbit hole, it's a Luciferian agenda. But they're doing it on their own children. You probably remember, I think, let me see if I can just look it up here real quick. She's not the only person who's done this. Let's see, Angelina Jolie, her child Shiloh. She does this as well. And let's see here. Oh, here we go. Brad and Angelina support Shiloh Jolie Pitt's decision to go by the name John, even though she's a girl. So you see this promoted again, just with more of these, you know, real satanic sellouts, you know. No surprise. Just a few examples there. I'm not sure why I put this one in here. Cult leader accused of murdering multiple children over decades. Let's see if I want to read something down here. A Florida woman who police describe as a cult leader is accused of murdering multiple children over several decades. I think the extent of how long this took place, going clear back to the 60s, is the most shocking, said Alachua County Sheriff's Office Art Forgy. A year's worth of digging revealed Anna Elizabeth Young responsible for the torturous abuse and death of multiple children, the sheriff's office said. Witnesses came forward from the House of Prayer alleging brutality and even some children being murdered. This week, Young was indicted by a grand jury for the unlawful death of little Iman Harper, also known as Moses. So I may have collected this for a video or whatnot, but either way, it happened this week, December 5th, and it sucks. Just another example that these things exist, these cults really do exist. And there's power in the blood, especially in the blood of the innocent. Cult leader accused of murdering multiple children over decades. And just this is a bit more when it comes to the Hollywood burning, and it is. Late night benders and on-set meltdowns, how ticking time bomb Bryan Singer disintegrated on set of the new Queen biopic and was fired after execs feared allegations of sexual harassment were about to drop. So a lot of us have been making videos on Bryan Singer for years. I have one called Hollywood Gay Mafia Exposed, I think, and I made it, 3 years ago. I've seen other people put stuff out as well, but even back then I was talking about Bryan Singer, and it looks like it's finally coming out after all these years. Not saying I'm responsible, I'm just saying after all these years of people knowing about this and talking about it, finally it's coming out. He was making a new movie with the actor from Mr. Robot, Rami Malek, I think you pronounce his name. He was playing Freddie Mercury in a Queen biopic, and it looks like he got fired. The source also says Singer was fired over fears sexual harassment allegations were about to drop against the director. Actor Tom Hollander reportedly quit the film at one point over differences with Singer, but was convinced to return to the production by members of the studio. There are new claims being made against Singer as well, including one man who alleged that the director touched him inappropriately over a decade ago. Bryan Singer has been fired by 20th Century Fox while in the middle of filming the Freddie Mercury biopic Bohemian Rhapsody. Good. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye, you creep and cretin. It's good. It's good. Let all these people be exposed. It's a good thing. Google supercomputer creates its own artificial intelligence child. The tech giant's computer-made system known as NASNet is able to identify objects such as people in cars in photos and videos. According to studies, the Google brain can pick out these objects with an 82.7% accuracy rate, something the company says is better than any man-made AI system. And the AI breakthrough will have a huge impact on the entire field. Experts have said the findings show automation is the key to creating the most accurate AI systems. NASNet itself was actually created earlier this year, AutoML, which is an AI system capable of creating more learning programs. The Google Brain team, which developed the mother system, said, "We hope that the larger machine learning community will be able to build on these models to address multitudes of computer vision problems we have not yet imagined." Okay. Google's Ray Kurzweil, Google's engineering director, said AI will enhance the world. He said technology has always been a double-edged sword. Fire kept us warm, cooked our food, and burned down our houses. World War II, 50 million people died, and that was certainly exacerbated by the power of technology at the time. My view is not that AI is going to displace us, it's going to enhance us. It does already. More programming for the AI. Russia and Chinese killer robots set to rule the world and dominate U.S. Carrie Bingen, Secretary of Defense for Intelligence, warned the two powers were making huge advances in their tech and were advancing on the U.S. The findings came from an earth-shattering report that claimed the U.S. has rapidly fallen behind its rivals and must now decide if it wants to lead the coming revolution or fall victim to it. It added the situation has become so dire that there are not enough analysts to watch 180,000 UFOs hurtling towards Earth from deep space. Russian military eggheads are now building drones, robots, and cruise missiles that could make deadly decisions without the need of humans. The advancement has panicked U.S. billionaire Eric Schmidt, who said China was also gaining on the U.S. and could overtake Washington in 5 years. He added, "It feels as an American that we are fighting this conflict with one hand behind our back. Let's talk about immigration. Shockingly, some of the very best people in AI are in countries that we won't let into America. Would you rather have them building AI somewhere else, or would you have them building it here? Iran produces some of the top computer scientists in the world. I want them working for Alphabet and Google. It's crazy not to let these people in." Okay. How will humanity react to alien life? Psychologists have some predictions. So I'm not really going to get so much into this, like the story, but it's the headline that really matters a lot to me. It's a subject I've covered a lot in the past, how they're preparing us for the alien arrival. And I believe it's not actually aliens from another planet or anything. These are going to be fallen angels or demonic interdimensionals, however you want to look at it. A great fake alien invasion. So we see a lot of these types of stories here popping out. I put a lot of this in my videos. How will humanity react to alien life? And there's also the Project Bluebeam side of this as well. That's a possibility too. Perhaps it'll be a mix of it all. So here's one. Human Kindle Rodrigo Alves reveals he's going ahead with his 60th plastic surgery operation, even if it kills him. You guys ever seen this guy before? The Brazilian plastic surgery fanatic is having 2 of his ribs removed to make him appear slimmer. The Brazilian-born star, 34, who has so far spent $400,000 on plastic surgery, will travel to LA to undergo his latest procedure, which he claims will make him thinner. There's a recent picture of him there. Rodrigo has opted for the controversial rib removal after being told he cannot have any more liposuction after having the fat-sucking surgery on 20 different occasions. The larger-than-life character has had 59 body modification procedures to alter his appearance and over 100 aesthetic enhancements. He said, "I will keep going. There is no such thing as plastic surgery killing you." Here he is. I show this stuff. It's not to mock these people. It's just, I always try to wonder, because I haven't experienced a heavy sadness like this. There has to be a sadness inside these people, some kind of an empty hole, for them to do this kind of thing to themselves. So I don't look at these people as mocking them or making fun of them. You pray for these people. It's just vanity, vanity. All I see is vanity, It's vanity. So stuck on your looks. So focused on what's on the exterior, when all this is just going to dry up and fall away anyway. We're all going to die. It ain't going to mean nothing, right? The physical part won't. Altered Carbon. It's a new Netflix sci-fi series coming out, and it's all about transferring a human consciousness into a computer. And I put this in one of my recent videos as well, just showing that this is all part of that programming and that social engineering. Because there's tons of news stories in the now where they're literally trying to figure out a way to do this. And you've already seen all the stories in artificial intelligence popping up. So this, again, is just part of that conditioning, that pre-programming, that this is where we're headed. So this looks fun. Randy Quaid versus Bernie Sanders for Vermont senator seat is fodder for reality show. Ain't that the truth? Do you guys remember Randy Quaid? Very interesting character. Was a famous actor. He's been in tons of movies. Had probably a 20-year run there where he was in every few months a movie came out with this guy in it, it seemed like. But Randy Quaid, been around. His brother is Dennis Quaid. So Randy famously, he left America and went to Canada, I think, initially, and he did a news interview where he was saying that there was a group of people in Hollywood that were, quote, star killers or star whackers, he called them. And a lot of us covered this many years ago. It was kind of a big deal, you know. He was friends with Heath Ledger. He said he had been whacked by these mysterious star whackers, and a lot of this kind of alluded to a Hollywood Illuminati for a lot of us, or a Hollywood satanic subculture, right? There's a lot of occultism around Heath Ledger's death and several of his movies as well. So it was very interesting. So he went away because it's a really complicated story. You can look up some of his videos or look up what he was talking about, but Dennis Quaid, unfortunately, was involved in it. It was him and some of their friends and lawyers all got together and basically took control of all of Randy Quaid's possessions and money, and left him and his wife, Randy and his wife, basically homeless. So they went to Canada. I think they lived there all this time, like for the last several years. He has a YouTube channel. He used to put up some really weird, random videos. I don't even know if YouTube's taken him down yet, but there was nudity in them too. It's weird. It's like him and his wife, and some of them were like kind of naked, and I think they were having sex on camera in some of these. I mean, it just got really bizarre, some of the videos he was making there for a while. And like I said, you can check his YouTube channel. I don't know if those videos are still on there, but for a while he was making some really, really wild videos. So anyway, wanted to include this. Randy Quaid, Bernie Sanders. The veteran actor tweeted a threat warning Thursday claiming that reps from a super PAC have approached him about running against Bernie Sanders for his U.S. Senate seat next year. And a reality show pitch about that potentially wacky race is making its way around town. Public Spectacle Media is planning an unscripted series that would follow Quaid's long-shot bid to become the junior senator from the Green Mountain State. Randy tweeted some very powerful people representing... Oh, we just said that. Okay. Well, that's interesting, and I got to admit that's a show I would probably watch. Would be very interesting. It's an interesting character. Randy Quaid. I'll take a drink here real quick. I'm going to wet my whistle. Does anybody ever say that anymore? Wet my whistle? You ever find yourself speaking to young people and saying, I remember you when you were a knee-high to a grasshopper? That's really crazy if you think about it, because that's super small. It's just got to be a figure of speech. This is good news. Global Atheist Convention canceled because nobody wanted to go. Good stuff. It's from the convention's website. As per the convention's refund policy, in the event of cancellation, only the purchase price of the ticket, including fees, is refundable. We are sorry that cancellation has placed you in a difficult situation, but we could not proceed with the convention given the level of ticket sales. Ticket sales have been substantially below expectations and below the levels for previous conventions, so unfortunately, the convention cannot proceed. Hear, hear. I think that's good news. Good. Let's see what else we got here. Not that. It's an old story. It's an old one. I got a few old ones mixed in here. Oh, this one. Meet the grown man who lives his life as a domesticated dog. We're living in the upside down. We're living in the as above, so below. People are literally losing their minds. We all have hobbies, and while some may be more unusual than others, many would argue that they're still valid. But what if your hobby revolved around dressing up as man's best friend in the form of a spotty Dalmatian? Well, as it turns out, there's a whole community of people who enjoy assuming a canine persona. Wearing custom-made costumes, they live life on all fours bound by a collar. One of these daring and brazen canine impersonators is 32-year-old Tom Peters. Daring and brazen. They're crediting this guy. They're crediting like mental illness. One of these daring and brazen canine impersonators is 32-year-old Tom Peters, who made an appearance on the British daytime TV show This Morning. While on the show, Peters, who goes by the name of Spot, talked about his peculiar penchant for dressing like a puppy and also acting the part. And there's a picture. Beautiful. Again, it's sad, man. It's sad. Sad stuff. Okay, what else we got? Okay, so this is a story that connects to something we talked about last week, also talking earlier about fake news in the community. And again, I'm just using this person here as an example, so please don't go harass this guy or anything. I'm not trying to call him out as a bad guy or nothing like that. I'm sub to him. I like a lot of Kennedigan's videos he's put out, but unfortunately, he puts out a lot of stuff from Your Newswire, and that's what I talked about last week. It turns out, he says Kennedigan makes the fake news, and it looks like, see if I can find it. He put it up here. So there it is. This is kind of what I was talking about with that Dave J situation earlier. So here, let's get rid of that ad. Pause. So he made what Mashable. Okay, he made kind of a mainstream news source where they were showing his video, one of his videos that he shared from Your Newswire, which turned out to be debunked in a fake story. So you see how this system works. The mainstream gets a hold of this stuff. They put it out. They criticize the conspiracy community on YouTube, which, it has wide-reaching arms, right? Wide-reaching tentacles. It affects a lot of us. And this is what I talked about earlier with this Dave J guy. A moron, sure. Smart as a box of rocks, absolutely. But there's people out there, whether they're put in by governments or they're just dum-dums, that come out with these really weird claims that are totally bogus. They get lots of views. They'll get the mainstream hit sometimes. They'll go viral, and then the mainstream can use it against the rest of us. So you tell me. I don't know how much of this is government psyop or how much is just, dumb did good. Dumb make dumb video. Rut-row, mainstream sources can easily grab this, make it go viral, and then put us all on blast. So I told you about this guy last week using a lot of fake news articles. I don't think he realized it. I don't know, but I'm just saying I would like to think not. And now this is the mainstream narrative. They get a hold of it, they put it out there, and we're all dum-dums. We're all idiots. So we have to be careful of our sources. What else we got here? Oh, okay. I didn't find the actual news story on this. I may have. We'll see. I've got a lot of links up there. But Living Tattoo previews future of bio-cyborg augmentation. That's from True News. So let's see here. I wanted to show you this as far as Mark of the Beast type technology goes.
Colors of the rainbow.
So check this out.
Shocking enough, the living bacteria has been genetically programmed to illuminate in the colors of the rainbow when it comes into contact with certain environments. Here's how it works. First, the bacterial cells are programmed. Then those cells are mixed together with hydrogel and cell-feeding nutrients to form an ink. Then, using a 3D printer, several layers of this living ink are dispensed onto a transparent patch. The patch is then placed onto human skin and lights up when exposed to compounds the bacteria has been taught to react to. Researchers from the project believe this technology can be used in the future to create a living sensor, which is designed to warn its wearer when they're in the presence of dangerous toxins.
Wow, a living sensor, a living, breathing tattoo that changes colors on the back of your hand. And of course, the reasons they always come out, they're never going to say this will be used for the mark of the beast. If you do not take the mark, you will be. It's always, something that's going to help humanity or, connect you with, Facebook, like help you out technologically somehow. I mean, that's how it's all promoted. Many of us showed you guys, and you've probably seen this. If not, let's see. Regina Dugan's her name. I'll put it in here. Regina Dugan, electronic tattoo. So yeah, that story reminded me of this one. So a lot of us covered this. Google director Regina Dugan was pushing RFID microchips, but they were coming in the form of an electronic tattoo that's going to go on the back of your skin. And the way they're going to promote it is in a way that people won't be running away from it. They're going to be basically begging for it. So that kind of connected to the last story. We're just seeing more, as far as I'm concerned, glimpses of the beast technology, really manifesting now. All right, so we don't need that. Let's see what else we got here. Would you date a robot? This was interesting. More than a quarter of millennials say they would replace a human lover with a droid. A new report has looked up, I'm guessing they meant to say, people's attitudes to the future of technology. Of 12,000 interviewed, over a quarter of 18 to 34-year-olds said they'd date a robot. Men were found to be 3 times more likely to date bots than women. Well, because most of these guys are pervs. So yeah, just again, this is more programming for us. More programming the humans for this artificial intelligence future that's closer than the horizon at this point. So a lot of us have covered the subject on the sex dolls, right? Look at that. Wow. Creep factor 100. So yeah, so they're getting humanity ready for this. It's the post-human existence. The beast system hates children and new life. So of course, we're going to see more of this kind of garbage promoted, right? Next story, let's see what we got here. Okay, this one. This doesn't fall into the last week category. I just wanted to share it. I've had people write me and ask me about these ancestry websites, like, I guess, My DNA, or I don't know what they're all called. I've seen some of the commercials. I'm not into it. I would never do it. I've always told people to be wary of stuff like this, and now we have stories like this come out. Police can request your DNA without your knowledge or consent via these ancestry websites. So be very careful. I know it's really cool to try to find out, where you're from. I'm adopted. I was told my family history. I don't even know for sure. I was told what I'm comprised of. I can't verify that. And I remember seeing some of these commercials and thinking, well, that's very interesting. I didn't think it'd be very popular. I never did it, but it turns out it's huge. I mean, millions of people have been submitting their DNA, just to find out their ancestry. Again, it's presented as something, fairly innocuous. Hey, we're trying to help you out, man. Want to find out your ancestry? It's kind of cool. Check it out. Meanwhile, you're submitting your DNA to these companies, and God only knows, what they're going to do with it. So you got to be careful. So this is interesting. I'll show you this one. It's kind of crazy. Let me let it load here. You want to see these pictures. Okay, so freakish ex-soldier who injects himself with homemade muscle bulking brew faces having bazooka arms falling off. Kirill Tereshin, 21, is known for his huge Popeye-style biceps, but concerns have been raised after he posted on Instagram his bazooka arms are about to fall off. And check these bazooka arms out. Let's let it load up here. Get some of these pictures popping. Well, there's one. And for whatever reason, that one doesn't look, it looks bad, but you don't get the full effect. You're about to get the full effect of this. Check out what this guy's done to himself. Look at that. That just looks painful. That's like literally bigger than my head. That's this guy's biceps. Whoa. Okay, now you get the full effect. Unbelievable what people are doing, to this beautiful creation. These bodies God gave us. I know. Not your own personal feelings about your body. A lot of people don't think it's very beautiful, but they're very intricate. If you really think about the human body and how it functions and it all comes together, it's fascinating. But look what people are doing to themselves. Unbelievable. Jeepers. Anyway, I just wanted to share that. Whoa. Mommy, take the monster away. Yeah, not good, man. Not good. Dangerous stuff. See what this is. See what we got right here. Oh, this one I wanted to share just because a lot of the times it's easy to get like negative attitudes, when you're awake and you see things that millions of people don't, like our community and a lot of us here. We're awake, and we struggle with this knowledge sometimes, but it's easy to get negative sometimes. But I want to give out some positives. This is, to me, is a good, this is a positive. Department of Justice is launching an investigation into Planned Parenthood. The Department of Justice has launched an investigation into Planned Parenthood's dealings in fetal tissue parts. The DOJ requested documents from a Senate committee that investigated allegations Planned Parenthood illegally profited from the sale of the parts of aborted babies. The Center for Medical Progress exposed the abortion giant's practice of harvesting and distributing the parts in a series of explosive videos published in 2015. And that was from James O'Keefe, I believe. Veritas Visuals on YouTube. There's a guy that you should definitely pray for his protection. He's exposed a lot of stuff. Even recently did some videos where he exposed some of the big newspapers. He also exposed YouTube itself and Google. And he met with some of the, the YouTube heroes behind the demonetization of our videos and the way that they categorize our videos and hide our videos and whatnot. And that was totally exposed by James O'Keefe as well and his group. So, yeah. Anyways, so man, we got to take a win when we get a win, and this is a win. This is good. I don't know what'll come out of it. Some people are nothing's going to come out of it. You know how it is. It's like, stop that, dude. Some people just love speaking negativity and darkness into everything. There's a difference between seeing the stuff and seeing it for what it is and exposing it, and then just being like a Debbie Downer all the time and just, kind of a bitch. Really, I've known these people, and you see them sometimes on YouTube and in these comments just constantly bitching and complaining, and everything's horrible and everything's falling apart. Ugh. It's exhausting. So let's take a win when we get one, and let's hope and pray this works out good and that something awesome comes out of it. Why not? Let's try being positive every now and then, Ain't gonna kill you. Oh yeah, this one. I want to share this too. Let's let this load. We've been going about an hour. Give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna take a drink here. I know this is mainstream news. I still want to share something, and I want to see if the videos on this one. Highway to Hell, terrifying video shows drivers on their way to work in LA passing hills covered with flames in the midst of raging wildfires. Yeah, that's the one I wanted to show you. I'm showing you this because I lived out in Los Angeles, and I used to drive on this highway. The Getty Center's on the right of all these people as they're driving, okay? On the left, there's some homes, but a lot of that was just trees, just vegetation. There wasn't anybody living there. But up the higher, like top of that, you get into some houses. And the further south you go, they're going south right now, you get into the city, in like industrial type areas. But man, this is crazy. Let's see if it plays right here. That is so nuts. I mean, look at that, man. It's startling footage. It's crazy, isn't it? It's interesting, the correlation. Hollywood is literally burning right now. It's falling apart. It's imploding. All these people are getting busted. And we also have it like literally on fire out there. This isn't too far away from Hollywood. But that is some crazy footage, man. And yeah, I used to drive that very highway. It's a 405. It's one of the worst highways ever. I can't believe people are actually moving right now. Usually it's all backed up there, but that footage speaks for itself, man. It's absolutely amazing. All right, let's go ahead and move on then. So this one was fun. I wanted to share this. This one was interesting. Armed man tells police Trump ordered him to fight lizard people. The man went on to describe how President Trump had called his house in Eatonville and warned him that the lizard people were coming and that the alpha dragon had already taken his family hostage, the sheriff's department said. A Washington state man who snorted methamphetamine to lose weight, in quotes, and caused alarm by waving an AK-47 at a busy intersection while shouting that President Donald Trump ordered him to fight the lizard people, was shocked with a taser gun by police and is being mentally evaluated. Interesting. Washington State Patrol troopers arrived on the scene to find the man waving around an AK-47 as well as a loaded Ruger .357 revolver. The man put the guns back in the car as troopers approached him, some armed with rifles of their own. The man immediately laid on the ground and started to scream about sending in the news and about the lizard people, the Pierce County Sheriff's Department said in a statement. As our patrol deputy and a trooper attempted to place him in handcuffs, he suddenly pulled away his arms and tried to resist being handcuffed while continuing to scream. According to the Sheriff's Department, the man told the arresting officers he had snorted methamphetamine to lose weight and was taking prescribed morphine, but added, "The meth doesn't make me crazy, man. The lizard people are real." The man went on to describe how President Trump had called his house in Eatonville and warned him that the lizard people were coming and that the alpha dragon had already taken his family hostage. The Sheriff's Department said he had stopped in the intersection because he was surrounded by the lizard people and need to fight them as directed by the president. He said he was screaming and making a scene in the intersection in order to attract the news vans and so his story could be documented for history. Interesting. It reminds me, I'm just going to do a search and see if I can find this real quick. Let's see. ODB. President Bush. YouTube. See if I can find this. I've been on YouTube and looking into the weird stuff for so long that I just remember a lot of things, you know, the weirder little parts of YouTube and weirder little videos. And here's one that story reminded me of this. Maybe this is it. Let's see.
To know if you've
I think this is it. So check. This is ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, old school hip hop artist talking about George Bush. And this is from like years ago. Check this out.
If you learned anything new in jail while you were in jail, and you
learned niggas trying to kill a nigga, man. Period.
yeah, how so?
Government, man. I don't know, G. They on my ass. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to shake these cats. You know what I'm saying? These are the big cats. No, I'm talking about these motherfuckers is President Bush and them niggas, right? You know what I'm saying? Niggas on my ass, G. For real, G. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no smiles, G. You know what I mean? You don't see me grinning at for shit, G. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, G, I got to shake these niggas.
Interesting. Yeah, I want to share that. Just on the top of my head, that reminded me of that. Well, here's some more programming, and will the new light pink magic bands become the next must-have Disney parks merchandise? And those have RFID technology in them, so it's becoming kind of a new thing at Disney. Right there for the people to get these bands with the RFID technology. So again, you just see how the mainstream media or the mainstream public are being really treated like cattle and slowly indoctrinated into what's coming. We'll jump around a bit here. I don't want that one yet. I'll come back to that. Let's see this. Again, we got more of the transhumanism, more of the sex robots. I would never go back to a man, woman who prefers to have sex with ghosts. Okay, this is different. Sorry, this isn't sex robots, but I thought this was interesting. I would never go back to a man, woman who prefers to have sex with ghosts, says spirits give her orgasms, and she's hoping to find one to settle down with. Amethyst Realm is her name, okay, explained on This Morning that she has given up men for ghosts. The 27-year-old from Bristol is a spiritual guidance counselor. Well, that's why she's open to spirits. Claims to have had sexual encounters with 20 different ghostly lovers. Incubus. Right? These are incubus. Told host Philip and Holly that she hopes to find a spirit to settle down with. Let's take a look at this girl. There she is. So looks like a witch. Looks like a spiritualist. So dangerous, man, to open yourself up to these kinds of things, you know? Amethyst, who says she now has no interest in men, revealed she is hoping to find a special ghost to settle down with after dating several spirits over the past 10 years. A stunned Philip and Holly wondered how the spiritual guidance counselor could tell her ghostly lovers apart. She says you can always feel the difference. It's the same with different humans. They have different energies. Man, this girl don't even know what she's dealing with. Or maybe she does, but that's so dangerous, man. And of course I believe this is real. And the spirit world is all around us. We don't battle against the physical. It's the spiritual. And if you just freely open yourself up to this kind of stuff, that can't be good. Right? You with me on that? See what we got here. Former Google and Uber engineers developing an artificial intelligence god, little g. The concept of an AI god may seem outlandish, but a former Google and Uber engineer is touting the idea of a high-tech deity as a way to improve society. Think about how much we depend on Apple, Siri, and Amazon Alexa today, which we talked about earlier, right? We ask the AI bot for directions, to check on the weather, and to dim the lights in our house. I don't. I don't. Never want to get used to having something like that in your house. It's my opinion. Few of us know the complex engineering required to make this happen. By 2029, computers will reach human levels of intelligence, according to one theory. I think it's going to be way before that, personally. In fact, Google already uses a bot called the Assistant that can answer just about any web search-related inquiry. Could what we trust and rely on so heavily on a daily basis evolve into a religion or a cult? Huh? Of course. A well-known engineer who worked at Google and Uber named Anthony Lewandowski has founded a new AI-based religion called Way of the Future, the Charter, to worship and understand the Godhead for the betterment of society. At least one expert suggested the idea of an AI Godhead might be overblown. However, the recent coverage of AI as a single unified power is a predictable upshot of a self-aggrandizing Silicon Valley culture that believes it can summon a godhead, says Thomas Arnold, a research associate at Tufts. An AI could write a Bible for how to live and expect humans to become subservient. It's one reason Elon Musk has decried the dangers of AI, saying superintelligence is more dangerous than North Korean nukes. Musk has slammed the concept of an AI god. An AI would provide the equivalent of a messiah, having many orders of magnitude more processing elements than the brain, enabling it to gift us with solutions to the most daunting social, political, economic, and environmental challenges, says Dr. Stephen Thaler, the president and CEO of Imagination Engines, who is an AI and consciousness expert. You see where all this is leading, right? Got it? You get it. You know. There's a new shooting that just happened. I mean, it's every day, bro, right? It really is. I can't believe I just quoted, was it Logan Paul? I'm not sure which one of those guys it is. Forgive me. Strike that from the record. Aztec High School shooting, 2 slain students identified. This is fresh. They're still kind of filling it out. I'll be watching later on the news to see what comes up. It'll be interesting to see what this is. Is this a false flag? Is it a hoax? Is it crisis actors, mind control patsy? Or is it really a human that actually did this? These things do happen. And then what's his story? Satanist, atheist, Democrat, gun-owning Republican, who knows? So I just want to throw it out there. I know it's mainstream news, just popped out, but this will be one to watch for. And these things just aren't ending, right? It's just like all the time. Gross. I don't like that guy. Merry Christmas. Here's one for you. Dancing with the Devil. Satanic Krampus celebrations erupt as hundreds turn out for terrifying Christmas demon who punishes bad kids. Half demon and half goat, the Krampus is rooted in early pagan mythology and came to be associated with Christmas in the 17th century. Merry Christmas. You look at that picture, you just want a Merry Christmas, right? It's beautiful. Merry Christmas. The Krampus is the evil counterpart to Santa Claus who visits the girls on St. Nick's naughty list. Merry Christmas. It might as well. This is what I see Christmas as being more this than Jesus' birthday anyway. All that paganized stuff, it came from Rome. And so many Christian people actually believe this is about Jesus' birthday. Meanwhile, amazing researchers out there have shown us that there's a great chance that Jesus' real birthday was on 9/11. Look that up if you haven't seen anything on it. I've covered some of that in the past. There's other people who've put a lot of work into that, but just check it out. I think Casey from Enter the Stars has done some work on that one as well. But it's all paganized. Christmas is a pagan holiday. Merry Christmas. How about that coming down your chimney? Last night was Krampusnacht. I guess I pronounced that right. The annual festival where they celebrate the demon in Germany and Austria. Folklore says that the satanic creature carries a bundle of sticks to birch unruly children and is even said to sometimes kidnap them and drag them to hell. Half demon and half goat, the Krampus is rooted in early pagan mythology. Every December 5th, the beast is said to come and punish the kids who have misbehaved. Look at that picture. Merry Christmas. Scary stuff. The falling star, of course. I've shown that in so many things. Katy Perry wrote out on one of these things during a Super Bowl performance, a fallen star. And we know who the fallen star is, the falling star, the first fallen star. Stars on Hollywood Boulevard, they all get the stars, right? So there you go, there you have it. Happy holidays. There's your new Christmas card. Happy holidays. God bless. All right, let's see what we got here. 250 rabbis bless Trump with biblical Joshua's strength and letter of support. Wow, here's another story that's totally developing. Now we're really getting into some biblical prophecy type stuff. Trump just made it to where Jerusalem will be considered the capital of Israel. And they're already fighting out there on the border, and one person's already lost their life. But that's going to erupt. So this one's interesting. This one's interesting. A lot of the so-called Jews out there, and then Christian Zionists and whatnot, are all looking forward to this. They believe it's time for the Jews to return home and be setting up for the end and whatnot. So this will be interesting to see how it goes. Just remember that the Jewish Antichrist is not the same as ours. Wait, let's see. Here we go. It's really nothing to read here. Over 200 prominent Israeli rabbis sent a letter of gratitude to President Donald Trump. blessing him in the manner that God blessed Joshua as he led the Jews into Israel, and stating that Trump's acknowledgement of Jerusalem as Israel's eternal capital assures him a permanent place in the annals of Jewish history. So here's one to watch as this develops. Be very interesting. We'll see. What I meant to say is that the Messiah the Jews are waiting on, right? The second coming, it's not the same as ours, obviously. Theirs will be the Antichrist. It's going to set up out there. I mean, Israel's the hot spot, man. It all goes down in Revelation. All around there. So this will be interesting to see what happens. Right? What else we got here? Exorcists called into school after 11 girls are struck down with mystery illness, causing them to faint and squirm like snakes. Priests believe the girls were possessed and carried out exorcisms on the teens. There you go. I've done a lot of videos on this subject over the years, but I definitely believe we're at a time where I always say the veil is lifting, and we're in a spiritual warfare, and we're seeing the rise of exorcists all around the world. I've done a lot of videos on that because they're contending with the rise of dark spiritual entities, or demonic possession, if you will. That's happening all over the place, more and more. So we get a lot more of the stranger stories like this coming out. Right. Wow, I think we're almost done. Let me jump over here.
I know this history, and
I just saw this recently. It just came up, and this is Jaden Smith, and it's really kind of sad. You know, you listen to this kid, and he's completely deluded. He has no real understanding of... Well, I'll just play this out. Just kind of check this out. It's very interesting. Look at this. Jaden Smith is extremely woke, they say. And it's sad to me what happens to a lot of these kids in Hollywood, you know, the way they come up. I mean, they've been putting him in dresses, and he's been pushing the gender fluidity stuff and all that, but just listen to how really lost this kid is. Let's check this out. I just want to share it with you. Here.
I study these things, but I am a menace, and I am raising the consciousness of humanity through art. It's important to start with that line because there are some things I've done that are very, very iconic, like crying in my music videos. You know, God just labeled the inspired creativity. So I think what it means to be an icon is being able to take extreme amounts of hate and extreme amounts of people saying they don't fuck. So that they receive that hate is because they don't fuck. Stop looking. It's very strange. Icon tatted on my torso. Stop looking. I look in the...
Anyway, that's about it. But just, it reminded me randomly of something else I saw recently. There's a video, or not a video, it's a commercial out with a few different people, but like celebrities. But one of the celebrities is DJ Khaled. I think it's pronounced Khaled. DJ Khaled, I think. Anyway, this guy, he's become famous on Instagram, I believe it is, or Snapchat, one of the two. And he puts up just really short, kind of what they say is like little bits of wisdom, but it's the dumbest stuff you've ever heard in your life. You know, it's really, really dumb. And of course, this beast system promotes people like that. You know, it's like, again, no offense if you're a DJ Khaled fan, but go check out some of his little quips, and they're all stupid. You know, it's like, the sky is blue, and so is my water. You know what I mean? Really, it's like that dumb, you know? My foot is cold. I put on shoe. You know what I mean? Just dumb stuff. But in this commercial, and I can't remember what it is, and maybe some of you guys have seen it, but he's, at the end, he's got his infant with him. It's like a little baby. He's holding the baby up, and he's looking at the baby saying, you're an icon. You're a legend, and stuff like this. So I saw this little clip from Jaden Smith where he's, you know, talking about how iconic he is, and he's a legend and all this, right? And it just goes to show you how these people in that satanic industry, at least for me, you know, what they do to some of these kids, especially holding up an infant. You're a legend. You're an icon. My shoe is warm. I put on shoe. Or my foot is cold. I put on shoes. Sorry. But, I mean, you get the idea, right? So they inflate these kids' egos, their minds, and it's to their own detriment, really. They're just deluded, some of these people, out of the minds. So there's that. I don't know why I had this one on there. Michael Jackson statue in Budapest. Maybe because at the end, you guys have seen this or not, but at the end of this is that right there. And it's basically a huge statue of Michael Jackson. And I know this is random. I think I wanted to connect with this with something else. I just didn't do it, but it's interesting, man. He's it's a big statue of Michael Jackson, and all around here there's crowds. It only shows children, and they're all worshiping his statue. So that reminded me of some of the prophecies from Revelation as well. They'll create like the image of the beast, and the whole world will worship it. So anyway, I know, random bit, whatever. We're almost at the end. In fact, I think we are pretty much at the end. There's one last thing I'll leave you here with. I just wanted to share this. I recently saw this clip on a Jonathan Kleck video. It was very moving, and I wanted to share it. I didn't want to play it while, in the middle of the show or anything, because it's pretty emotional, man. First time I watched this, I had some tears, I got to admit. But I figured this would be a nice way to end the show. So anyway, before we do, I'll just say, once again, man, thank you to all of you. Thanks for listening in. I hope you gained something from this. I really appreciate your time. And a big special thanks to those of you who support my work through Patreon or PayPal, or even supporting my sponsor, which is Silver Botanicals, silverbotanicals.com, replacing chemicals in your home that will kill you, can kill you, with all natural. And I think that's a good way to go. I think it's a great company. So Silver Botanicals. I mean, and just for those of you who do support me on Patreon, and even through PayPal occasionally, y'all need to know, man, it really makes all the difference. I mean, just this past month, I've lost over $200 in support. So I live kind of month to month, just enough to get by, but I'm okay with that, because that's been my dream and goal, is to continue this life of just focusing on videos, on shows, on the website, and just evolving it all up, and just to keep moving forward, man. So I appreciate all of you. I mean, every $1 a month or whatever, fine, man. It all counts. It all matters. And I'm so grateful and indebted to all of you out there who support my work. Thanks. Said YouTube's being a real jerk here lately. But anyway, that being said, man, thank you. Okay, thanks again. God bless. I hope you all had a good week. I hope you have a great weekend, a great week ahead. I'll go ahead and finish by playing this out for you right here, okay? And we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
First time she heard of her foster son, Leslie.
We had bought this house, and some neighbor come up here and said, "Are you called Miss Lunty?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Well, there's a call here from a hospital about a baby or something like that." So I went down and listened, and they said, "You're the only one that we could think of calling." Said, "You worked with these kind of children and everything, and we have a baby here that's going to die." And when I saw that poor little thing with its eyes out and everything, I took it.
Until 2 years ago, Leslie was unable to even talk. All his life, he's had great difficulty controlling his muscles. He can barely manage to dress or feed himself. Leslie is severely disabled, but there's something very special about him.
I said, "This boy can't stand, and I'm going to drag him around." I said, "so he feels what I'm doing." And he was getting on for 10 and 11 years old. And he was still so tiny. And I stood him by the fence, and he moved. And I saw him go like this. I said, Come on, baby." I says, "Come on to me." Because to me, he was just a baby. That's all he looked like. I said, "Come on, do another step. Just a step. Come on, walk. Come to me." And he took another step like this, all shaky like this. And he stood like that. Yes.
Another thing May did right was to buy Leslie a musical instrument.
It was a second-hand piano. And I put it in there. And each night I would go in and ping like that. Just me, I'd be doing that. I wasn't playing no music at all, just going up and down like that. And he was around 16 years old. He couldn't talk or walk or anything. And we went to bed, and we heard music. I couldn't believe it. And I said to Joe, I said, "Did you leave television on?" And he said, "No." And I got up, thinking I was going to turn off some music. And that boy had got out of that bed. How he did it, I don't know. And he was playing that piano.
How and why Leslie could suddenly play a piano concerto that he had only heard is beyond explanation.
I said, oh, thank you, Dick, that you've remembered to do something for Leslie.
Everybody's beautiful.
The first time he sang was the most important thing I ever heard. He was singing and playing piano, but he couldn't talk with us. What was I doing that time?
Everybody's beautiful.
Do you know that he did not cry until he was 18 years old? He was sat in that chair, and I saw a tear running down his cheek for the very first time, and I said, what is wrong with you? And he went like this, he says, I'm crying. And it was noises like, oh, like a child that was in the worst misery that had ever been with anybody, and he cried and cried.
For eternity.